Well, hello, and we are live. Happy Monday, happy Monday, happy Monday. If Let's just make sure we are connected on each platform. Well, welcome in, welcome in. I hope everyone is having a good Monday evening, end of the day, end of the shift for a lot of people. If you are new here, if this is your first time seeing me. My name is Victoria. I'm the face behind this page, and um, I know for my YouTube followers, it's gonna be new because I don't usually go live. So trying something new. All right. So I hope everybody had a good one, a good day, beautiful day. Day's over. Today we are talking all healthcare. Okay, all healthcare tonight. So I want you to do me a favor. If you're watching us, if you're watching me or you're watching later, put a comment. If you're a nurse, first of all, if you're a nurse, put in the comment section what specialty you're in. I am really interested to look at the comments, okay? And if you're not a nurse, or if you can also drop in the comment section where you are watching me from, okay? I am coming to you live from the beautiful city of Dallas, Texas. And oh my God, it's been very warm today, extremely warm in the high 90s. The AC had to go up. So we are talking tonight all about life as a nurse. Again, I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Victoria. I have been in the healthcare profession for 16 years now. Done so many different specialties. I know the hospital walls pretty well. So, been doing nursing for a while. Love it, love it, love it. It was my childhood dream, and I am so glad that I was able to accomplish that dream. So, I want to talk to all my healthcare professionals tonight. So, join the conversation, and like I said, put in the comment section what specialty you're in and also where you're watching me from because I'm curious, okay? And if you're in the Dallas area, say hi. Let's see all the Dallas people. Okay, so life as a nurse. Ha ha ha. It's been a wonderful, beautiful journey. Everybody when we say nursing, it's a very rewarding, prestigious, I should say, career path. A lot of people love doing what they do, um, and over the years, like I said, I've been doing it for 16 years. So I can say over the years, I've done quite a few specialties. I think the only specialty I have never done is ICU and PEDS. So I always give special shout out to PEDS because it takes a special heart. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, but I know taking care of sick kids, um, it's a lot. I should say. Nurses, drop your specialty if you're coming in. If you're joining us later, drop your specialty in the comments. I see. And I want to talk to nurses about burnout. As much as we all love nursing, we all love what you do. We do. Um, Burnout, it's for real. If you if you are tired of feeling stuck or overworked, or like you're trading so much time, this life is for you. It's very much for you because I'm going to talk about my story, my personal story, and how I was able to transition, not fully transition, but decrease my hours enough to be able to build something else on the side. So the burnout, the overworking can decrease. So I can have some personal time and also, long-term purposes. I know this, so I'll go into that part that details later about a lot of nurses who work so many years and then they still can't retire comfortably. We see it if you've been in healthcare at least a year or two. you will see this trend that I'm about to talk about. Nursing, everybody knows nursing is a good area to go, because of there's always demand for nursing. We will acknowledge that. Um, there some When it comes to healthcare, someone is always going to need help in their health in some area or the other. So that's why nursing, it seemed a lot of people go into nursing. A lot of people's passion, a lot of people also is also the monetary aspects. Good paying job. But the parts that we normally don't talk about or we normally don't see people talk about is the burnout, the overworking, the stress, constant 12 hours, um, multiple 12-hour shifts. There are so many nurses who don't just work the 3 days of 12 hours. So many of us work four, five, six, name it. I used to do six, and I can acknowledge the fact that over time it affects you, um, your health, yeah, mental fogginess, a whole lot of effect comes to play. Um, so let me share a little bit of my story. Back in 2023, I was pregnant with my second son, and as pregnancy may have it, I had preeclampsia, early stages of preeclampsia. Thank God for my doctors; they detected it very early, so I had to stop work. I had to stop working. And, as most pregnant people, we already have our plans laid out. Women, when we get pregnant, we already have our plans laid out. When we're going to stop working, how long we plan to work, so that, savings. Because when you have the baby, you stay home for a little bit. Some stay home six weeks. Some people do the whole 3 months. So my plan was to stay home for 3 months. However, because of the preeclampsia being detected early, I think my baby was about 6 months thereabout, when it was detected. So my husband and I sat down, and then we decided it was best I stop working. So I stopped working, and that means 3 months of no work, with no income plus maternity leave. Stopped working. Fast forward, had my baby safely, and we came home. Now, when we came home, like I was saying before, everybody budgets for the maternity time, what we're going to spend, what's going to, we save up so that we can stay home with our babies. I know there are some mothers who cannot even afford to be home for the whole 3 months, and they have to go to work 3 or 6 weeks after having their baby. Fortunately for me, as I've been able to stay home 3 months for each of my kids. So um, I came home, and I noticed that money was going. The funny thing is, when there's nothing coming in, money seems to go fast, and you seem to realize it quicker. You pay attention to it more, I think. So money was going, and less coming in. So I started thinking, and started thinking of not just being on maternity, but long-term purposes. If I was to stop working, or God forbid something happens and I can't work anymore, what's going to sustain my family's lifestyle comfortably without stress? Um, and that got me to thinking, and I'm like, nah, this one way of earning, it's not the best route. And I'm the type of person who's always working. So now two babies at home, there was no way I was going to be able to work. No, it's a lot for two babies under five, newborn and another child under five. So I started thinking. I was really seriously thinking of what else can I do that will give me some flexibility while also earning, so it's not too much financial stress, financial burden. So I was looking, and I have never done business before. So I had no experience at all All I've known most of my adult life is healthcare. Started nursing very young. So I was looking, and fast forward, I returned back to work after my maternity leave. I wish it was longer, but I had to return back to work. I returned back to work, and I was always at the back of my mind. So I returned back to work, and somehow I found myself working more than the 3 days, like 5 days sometimes, some weeks, and it was a lot. The long shifts, it was a lot, especially with the newborn, um, coming home tired after 12 hours, your mental fogginess, and it was a bit stressful at that time. It was very stressful. I know a lot of mothers can relate. It was very stressful. So as the days went by, the weeks went by, I was at work actually, and I was talking to one of my coworkers, um, and she shared something with me, which I'm going to share with you guys today. Um, the break, the breaking moment that before I even go into what she shared with me, the breaking moment for me was, my oldest was what, 5 at that time, and each time I put on my uniform, you could see the disappointment on his face, and he would sometimes ask, "Are you going to work again?" And I say, "Yeah, I have to." Responsibilities, the bills don't stop. We all know they actually keep coming in. So, and the breakout point was one day when I was on my way, and he asked that question, and I saw the disappointment, and I was like, nah, something has to change. So I was at work talking to a coworker, and she shared something with me. She shared an online business she was doing. This is a fellow nurse. She's a mom of 6, and she was comfortably building her business, online business on the side, while raising her kids and also being able to work as a nurse. I wasn't ready to leave nursing. I just wanted something that supplements my income so I can have some flexibility, so I can build something on the side. And that's when we got into the conversation. And I was like, I asked questions, as we all do. Like I said, I had no business background, so I was like, well, what am I going to do online? I mean, and I've been off social media for such a long time. Like I barely posted. I 10 years plus. So I was like, um, what could be, earning enough for me to not drop a couple of shifts so that I can be home with my babies, spend more time at home, because when you have a newborn, you want to capture every moment. They're crawling, they're smiling, and if you're constantly going to work, you tend to miss some of these moments, and as a mom, it can be very heartbreaking sometimes. So, she told me the business she was doing. I looked into it first of all, because with the nursing license, you have to protect that. So you can't do any kind of shady business. So I made sure it was legit. And when I found out that the business was, she first of all, she showed me a video. I watched the video. To be honest, I still wasn't that clear. I asked questions, like I said, did my own due diligence, and when I found out that the business actually gave you gave you business identification, it was a recognized business globally. Um, you get your 1099 as if you're in the USA, you get your T4 if you're in Canada, and so as vice versa for other countries. I was like, okay, and it's online. And you don't have to, drive to work, sit in traffic. You can just build it from the comfort of your home. So that got me very intrigued. But then at the back of my mind, I was like, I have never done a business before, so how is this gonna work? But then she was like, they pay the 149 access fee, and you get more details about the structure of the business. And um I paid it because at that point I really wanted something else. Doing nursing for 15 years has brought me a lot of joy. 16 years this year has brought me a lot of opportunities along the years, made a lot out of it. But I was at the point in my life where I was looking for options. And I felt like um, just being in nursing or just being in healthcare wasn't going to give me the long-term goals that I had planned. I have planned for myself and my family because we're looking at, even if I'm to retire in a couple of years, I'm not there yet, but how much do I have saved? To all those questions will pop up, and spending time with family now, because the kids, they grow fast, and you really want to spend time with them. You want to be in their lives, part of their growth. So all those were factors that made me switch. So I started a business, and it's been a year now, over a year, a little bit over a year. And I'm just sharing this opportunity with you guys because maybe you are that mother. Maybe you're a first generation immigrant. Maybe you're a career driven person, who always carries that guilt of I'm always gone, what's going on in my kid's life, or I'm missing school activities, I'm missing school plays, I'm missing school programs, I'm missing time with the kids, vacations. Because we all know, healthcare workers, we all know that even getting time off at work can sometimes be a bit stressful with finding someone to cover you. Sometimes the days that you want, you don't even get it. They'll tell you to do shorter term, and it can be stressful. And for especially for immigrants, if you have to travel back home, you tend to not get a long term. You fly all the way, you don't get longer stays. So I'm sharing this so that if you're a nurse, if you're a career driven person, if you're a mom craving for such an opportunity, you can look into it. So, like I said, I had no business experience, but when I paid that 149 and it broke down the business structure, and that settled me because the trainings were very structured, and it was step by step trainings where you could do from the comfort of your own home on the computer, video based. You had I had a coach I could reach to, a mentor I could reach to. So that gave me the confidence, to be able to do it. And like I said, I was not a social media person. I had been offline for like 10 years. We all want to thrive. We all want to achieve something. We have bigger goals that we want to accomplish. Most of us spend hours on social media, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, just scrolling. These are all times you could be building something for yourself. Over the year of doing this business, I've realized that time is not the problem. It's a matter of how you structure your time when it comes to building a business. You know, Maybe you're that nurse. The long shift is too tiring. I trained so many new grads, and I see the burnout from the get go. Some of them are even leaving bedside nursing 3 months into the job, 6 months into the job. I had a friend that I graduated with. She did bedside for, I think, 8 months, 9 months. She said, "Oh no, I'm done." It's real. It's real. But you don't want to spend so much money to acquire that education. Most of us come out with student loans, so you put you are kind of forced to work. You love the patients, but healthcare is so different now, so different now. So maybe you're that person looking to find that balance. This is an opportunity. I am grateful for the years I've been doing nursing. I am still grateful. I have not left it. It's still there. But I have an opportunity to build something alongside my career. If my nursing salary is taking care of my necessities right now, my income or my earnings from my business is also taking care of my future plans, my vacations. I you don't the funny thing is most people think nurses make a lot of money, and if you put in the hours you do, but it's at the detriment of your health, your time away with family, so many other things. You give up so much to be at the hospital extra days. Sometimes even when you have to take a vacation, you have to go check the bank account to see if there is enough to book that vacation or plan that vacation. But here's an opportunity for you to earn something, earn. And the testimonials in this business has been amazing. So many nurses. Some have even retired from nursing earlier than they expected because they built this business. This is an online franchise business. There will be other videos going into more details about um, the business itself. So follow the page. I'll be dropping more live videos about it so we can break it down step by step. This is this life is just to talk to my fellow nurses, healthcare professionals, nurse practitioners, patient care techs, social workers, healthcare professionals who are looking for an opportunity to build something. Here's my story. You've heard it. And, you know, after building it for a year, or 15 months now, about 6 months into starting the business, I was able to quit my second nursing job. And now it's been a life changing, dream come true where I get to drop my kids off in the morning with no rush. There was a point in time where I did a video on my page and talked about this, where I was driving from a night shift, and you know fell off. I stopped. It was a red light. I fell asleep until another vehicle honked, and I woke up. That moment really shook me. Now I don't have to worry about that anymore. I I have time with the kids. Even for some parents, even a simple walk at the park, or a simple, have to be squeezed in. Build that flexibility for yourself and your family. Yes, we have the degree. It's rewarding. It's amazing what we do every day, changing lives, blessing people, healing people, helping people heal better, feel better. But think about you, what all the long shift is doing to your body, what health complications you are piling on just because you're working 6 12-hour shift or 7 12-hour shift. I've seen people even do 10 12-hour shifts. Can you imagine? With surviving on 5 6 hours of sleep. Mothers going to work feeling so guilty because they have to drop off their 3 month old or 6 month old at the daycare at 6 o'clock and pick them up at 6 p.m. These are realistic situations. But I say now that if I had this business when I had my sons, it would have been such a tremendous relief. Like maternity wise, I would have probably enjoyed my maternity more. Because the financial stress when you see money going every day and nothing coming in or less coming in can be a lot. Can be a lot. I needed flexibility. I needed a system that worked for me. I needed something that will fit in our lifestyle. And that's what made this online business a great opportunity and a great fit, because I didn't have to drive to a location. I didn't have to drive and sit in traffic for somewhere. I didn't have to invent new systems. The systems were already in place for me. It was just a matter of plug and play. It's like when you buy a franchise, a traditional franchise, but this time is in the online space. If you're watching this and you feel pulled, just comment freedom below. I'll personally connect with you and show you what helped me transition. Now, if you're a nurse or healthcare worker, don't forget to drop your um, specialty in the comment section and also where you're watching me from. I hope my story inspires you to want something different, to want a change, to want to do something alongside your beautiful career that you're building. Because before I wrap it up, let me say this. If you've been in healthcare for a year or two, you've noticed this trend. You will notice this trend if you haven't seen it. So many people work their whole lives and just retire, depend on retiring comfortably on their 401k. But then I've seen so many nurses who it gets to that time and then they realize that 401k that they were banking on wasn't going to be enough. Economy is expensive now. Everything is on the rise. Rent, mortgages, food, gas, name you. So it's putting a lot of pressure on a lot of families and it's pushing a lot of people to do more than they want to do, like in terms of work hours. And if you're an immigrant taking care of people back home, that's even another added stressor. Check this business out. Like my screen has my website as well. It's a free video that talks about the business opportunity, gives you a breakdown of how this online franchise works. So you can make that informed decision for yourself. Because the saddest thing is um, working all your life only to get to that stage or age where you want to retire, and then you find out you cannot retire comfortably or you don't have enough saved to even retire. That's why we see a lot of people who are past retirement age, but then you see them still working. If if not for pleasure, there are people who work after retirement also just for just to socialize but there are a majority of them work because the social security coming in or what they are making outside retirement isn't enough to sustain them. If you're new here, don't forget to follow this channel. If you're on YouTube, follow the page on Instagram. And I do share a lot about my business opportunity, the steps to take, all on my business page, Facebook business page, and it's also in the caption. The link to that page is in the caption. You can feel free to follow those pages so you can learn more about the opportunity and see if it's a good fit for you. I will do further lives. Okay. So if you have any comments, and questions, you can also drop into the comment section. I'll be checking them out. Let me know what specialty you work and where you're watching me from. So until I come your way next time, this is your beautiful Victoria talking to you live from Dallas, Texas. And I hope to talk and connect with you soon. Have a great night, everyone.